working on this morning is a time-lapse thing using individual still photos to make a time-lapse video. This is in preparation for a project that I've had in mind for a little while to create a time-lapse video of a full year in a cornfield or a farm field. I envision the video finally ending up to be maybe a half hour or 40 minutes of continuous time lapse throughout the year, and on days when there is field work, slow it down so that maybe a day in the field on those days would last a minute, but the rest of the footage would run at a faster pace when the field's just sitting there growing, to keep the video from being 20 or 30 hours long. I want to keep it down to 30 or 40 minutes, I think. I envision it being possibly a documentary kind of a thing. There are a lot of logistics involved with getting this done, especially being the novice at videography that I am. It's kind of a challenging project for me. What I'm working on right now is I have this LG track phone. This is one of those disposable phones that you can pick up like at Dollar General or something like that for $30 or something ridiculous like that. It's an Android device, and I went with that because it has a micro SD card in it, so I can put a micro SD card in there and get a very large amount of storage out of it. Also, I've picked up an app for it that's called 24/7 Time Lapse, which is a pretty bare bones application for taking still photos for a time lapse. It's really bare bones. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. You load it in there, you tell it the interval that you want it to take photos at, and it sits there and it takes photos. The reason that I chose that is that it has been designed for very low power consumption. Some of the other logistics that I'm going to have to work out are that this is going to be at a remote location where there's no electrical available for the phone. So I'm going to have to put together a battery system with a solar charger to keep the phone powered for a whole year. So I'm going to have to pick probably an automotive battery with one of those solar panels that you can buy at the auto parts store to keep car batteries charged up. They're not real expensive, but I'm going to have to size the power output of the solar panel and the battery so that during the nighttime and everything I have an ample power supply. Also, since this is going to be an outdoor location, I'm going to have to build an enclosure to put the photo device in, so it's protected from the elements, and because it's going to be out there for a full year, it's going to experience some extreme temperatures. So the idea I have is to put a Peltier device in there. If you don't know what one of those is, it's an electrical device that when you apply voltage to it, one side gets hot, the other side gets cold. My idea is to mount two of those inside of the enclosure where the device is, and one of them with the cold side to the inside of the box, the other one with a hot side to the inside of the box, and put some thermostats in there so that when the temperature gets to the limits of the phone's physical endurance, they will kick in and adjust the temperature inside of that box. I'm also going to need to put a pole at the edge of the field where I'm going to do this, because corn can get up to 10 feet tall. So, I'm going to have to get the phone up in the air to be able to have footage that you can actually see something going on. I've got to build the box. I've got to work out the electrical system and the sizing of that. And I've got to get a pole out there. And while I'm working on all that in the evenings and on the weekends when I have spare time, I've got to fine-tune this, the hardware and the software that will actually be taking the pictures and get that exposure issue worked out and those kind of things. I'm going to include in this video the first test that I have done. That was October the 29th. I shot stills for the whole 24 hours at 24-second intervals. I cut out the nighttime frames where there wasn't anything to see. It was just a black screen. And what I'm left with is 52 seconds that are the daylight hours of October the 29th. Enjoy, and if you have any comments or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. Thank you.